Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Friday, October 2nd, 2015, around 6:05 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's going to be another damp and dreary day, mostly dry, but we could get some rain showers. The Cape and southern New England's going to see the bulk of the rainfall today. And Hurricane Joey, or whatever they call it, is trending out to sea and stuff. So it will not impact the east coast of the United States. It will not make a direct landfall and stuff. It won't like cause damage and stuff. Just heavy surf and some heavy rains with the outer bands of the storm. But this is not going to be a superstorm Sandy, which a couple of days ago it was feared it would be. But that's good news. Some news to report. The New York Yankees beat the Boston Red Sox by a score of 4-1 to clinch a playoff spot. So they're going to be a wild card spot. First time the Yankees have been in the playoffs since 2012. And Texas Rangers clinched a playoff spot, and their magic number to clinch the American League Western Division titles down to 1. It's Happy National Name Your Car Day. Still battling a little bit of sniffles and stuff like that. Don't like it around this time of year because the allergies happen a lot. Don't know what I'm allergic to and stuff, so I have to continue to wash my hands and stuff, put hand sanitizer. You gotta do that around this time of year if you have like chances to get like allergies and stuff. Wash your hands more often and stuff, and like dust and clean. And that's about it on that. My first video subject of the day is a continuation of the top 10 list of everything and anything. I've now reached the top 10 greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time. This is a very impressive list. Some of these announcers were like face, some of them were face-heel. These were the greatest announcing duels in sports entertainment history. Number 10 on this list is Bob Caudle and Dutch Mantel. They called Smoky Mountain Wrestling for a couple of years in the early 1990s. Smoky Mountain Wrestling was one of the last great regional territories in professional wrestling. Bob and Dutch had kind of great chemistry together and stuff. Bob was kind of the straight man, and Dutch Mantel was the heels. And I kind of liked their broadcasting combination. Number 9 on this list of the top 10 greatest professional wrestling announcing teams of all time. Michael Cole and Taz. They did play-by-play together and color on SmackDown and many WWE pay-per-views in the 2000s. Michael Cole and Taz had great chemistry together. Many people were picking them to be like the greatest broadcast team of the 2000s, and I agree. Number 8 on this list of the top 10 greatest professional wrestling announcing teams of all time. Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson. Vince and Pat called WWE Championship Wrestling and WWE All-Star Wrestling in the early 80s. They were a great team and stuff. Very, very underrated and stuff. People now know Pat Patterson to be in one of Mr. McMahon's on-air stooges, but they've had a close relationship for many, many years. Number 7 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time. Good old JR, Jim Ross, and Paul Heyman. Very, very underrated. JR and Paul Heyman called like WCW in the early 1990s and stuff, like the Power Hour and WCW Saturday Night. Eventually they were like on Raw and some WWE pay-per-views in 2001 and stuff. Was good to have a refresher with Paul Heyman like doing the announcing, around 2001 during the Invasion angle, because Jerry the King Lawler left the WWE for a while, and he was kind of stale, Jerry the King Lawler, as commentary at that time. Number 6 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announcing teams of all time. Gordon Solie and Buddy Colt. They called Championship Wrestling from Florida for many, many years. They had great chemistry together and stuff. was pretty good. Number 5 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time. Tony Schiavone and David Crockett. They called Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Worldwide Wrestling for many years, and then World Championship Wrestling on Superstation. They were like probably the premier premier announced team for the NWA. Very, very great chemistry together, and also like they complimented each other and stuff. They should have called the first class of the champions together, but they had JR and Tony Schiavone, which was kind of not a great move, because Tony Schiavone and David Crockett were the team of Jim Crockett Promotions Mid-Atlantic announced team for much of the 80s. Number 4 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time, Lance Russell and Dave Brown. They were the longtime voices of Memphis studio wrestling for years and years. Probably they were great together and stuff. And they never got to do a pay-per-view together or a major show because most of the stuff was like a studio, but they were great doing it. Number 3 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time, Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura. They called WWE superstars and a lot of Saturday nights main events together. Vince was usually the face, Jesse was a heel. Jesse would always like to antagonize Vince and stuff, and sometimes he would say stuff that kind of outed him as like the owner of the WWE at times, but they had good chemistry together. They were kind of like a little bit of a comedy team. Number 2 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time, good old JR Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, the voices of the Attitude Era, doing Raws and WWE pay-per-views. JR was a great straight man, and the King was like a heel, very good. This is when the King was great as an announcer and stuff. And 1997, 1998 was the peak for them. And after like 1999, it just, wasn't really great, because with Jerry the Kid Lawler becoming like obsessed with puppies and stuff, that kind of like made him kind of more and more like a comedy. It got annoying after a while. And number 1 on this list of the greatest professional wrestling announced teams of all time, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. They were known doing Wrestling Challenge and a few WWE pay-per-views and hosting Prime Time Wrestling. They were a great comedy, like kind of a comedy team and stuff. Gorilla Monsoon wasn't really a classic announcer, because he many times he would announce like body parts, which a lot of people would say it was arrogance and stuff, but it was probably a little funny and stuff and humorous. And Bobby the Brain Heenan would interject himself with humor and some of the quotes, "Would you be serious?" and "You're a fountain of misinformation." And that's about it on that. I'll be back later, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter with 2 more video blogs. One will be about the infamous one-game playoff of 1978 for the American League East title between the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox. That happened 37 years ago today. And the third and final video blog of that will be about the late great CBS Sports announcer Frank Lieber. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Butter guy. Molly rolls of blood, a Fox 35 rocks and has nice legs. Amy Swansea, so stunning. Elizabeth Hunt is so cute. And the words of Sean Lucha. Get out. See you later, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Bye now.